From stories of weird glitches in the Matrix to unexplained signals in space and the mysteries that lie within black holes, we've got some interesting things lined up for you today as we cover the top 10 terrifying signals from parallel universes they don't want you to hear. Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have Deja Vu. At some point or another, most of us have experienced deja vu, and a lot of the time these experiences can be a little creepy and a little unsettling, to say the least. It's the feeling of having been there before, doing the same thing. The feeling of already having experienced the present situation. It's weird. Perhaps it's just some sort of weird human phenomena that lacks an explanation, but maybe it's a sign or a signal that somewhere, perhaps in another universe, a similar situation already happened to the other you. This deja vu story reflects that quite well, as this person tells a story of a time that their deja vu saved their life. Diztronics17 on Reddit wrote in response to a prompt asking for everyone's creepiest deja vu moment, quote, "I saw a Prius on the shoulder of the Garden State Parkway. For some reason I had a memory of a Prius all of a sudden darting into traffic. As a precaution I moved over a lane and sure enough the idiot floors it into traffic without looking right where I would have been driving. Made me think." Maybe this again is just a weird human phenomena, but maybe it's a sign of something else. Something bigger. In our number 9 spot today we have The Bird. This story comes from someone who saw something weird, and it wasn't out of the corner of their eye or anything like that. They saw it right in front of them as they were directly looking at it, and as of now there doesn't really seem to be any sort of concrete explanation as to how this could have happened. They wrote, quote, "I was standing outside work having a smoke. I was looking at the bike rack and thinking about how silly it was they just placed one there and didn't bolt it down or anything. Then a bird footprint showed up. Just one footprint, like a ghost bird put just one foot down in the middle of the otherwise undisturbed snow. It happened right in front of me. I was looking exactly where it happened when it happened. Very weird. Most likely the snow just happened to collapse in that shape, but still, it was strange. Maybe the snow just collapsed, maybe it was a ghost bird, or maybe it has more to do with another universe colliding with ours. Whatever the answer really is, this story kind of gives me the chills. Maybe the birds aren't the bourgeoisie and they can just jump timelines, and that's why they're so suspicious. In our number 8 spot today we have The Ice Cream Stain. This is a strange story that someone posted online about a weird glitch in the Matrix type thing that happened to them, and it just might be an example of someone who jumped realities. They wrote, quote, "I spilled chocolate ice cream on my leg. I wiped it off and there was still a pale brown stain in the shape of the ice cream splotch. I told my mother, who said it was a birthmark. I will swear under oath that never before that moment did I have a birthmark there." Does anyone else have any weird stories like this? It's easy for us to chalk these things up to just having a wild childhood imagination, but that's also because it's an easy explanation. Maybe it's time we start asking ourselves the harder, more interesting questions. I feel like someone would remember having a birthmark, right? In our number 7 spot today we have The Randomness. Okay, when looking for signs or signals from other universes, sometimes we have to look in the most peculiar places, and that includes some of the strange things that happen in our reality. Bizarre, seemingly random things happen here all the time, and maybe it's because we live in a weird world, or maybe it's a sign that since the idea of parallel universes means that there's a universe where basically every random thing you can think of is a reality, we just live in a universe where some of those random things are bound to happen. Like, who would have guessed that Napoleon would almost be taken out by a bunch of bunnies? Or like how people can survive the seemingly impossible, like a fall out of an airplane at over 30,000 feet without a parachute. You know, just things you hear that you can't believe. I'm sure many of you watching this have seen a video on this channel at some point that had someone say something that made you go, "Really?" And that's what I'm talking about. Maybe this isn't the best evidence of parallel universes, but hey, everything counts. In our number 6 spot today we have The Conversation. This is a story that comes from someone who seems to have a sort of unusual talent, we'll call it. Maybe they're just super smart, maybe they can see the future, or maybe something else is going on here. They start by explaining that they have dreams about people or places they've never seen before, and then without fail a few months later they'll be with the people or in the place that they had dreamt about. They also have this ability to sing a random song while another one is playing on the radio, and then somehow, like magic, the next song that plays is the one they were just singing. They then go on to say, quote, "One super weird thing though happened in about 2012ish. I was 19 and living at home with my parents and younger sister still. I came home from work from my job at a barbecue place and my sister says to me, 'Oh, I thought you were off today.' I'm confused because I left at 5 a.m. before anyone was awake and I ask her, 'When did I say that?' She says to me, 'Like 2 hours ago in your room.' She thinks I'm screwing with her, so I tell her to smell me because you can smell the barbecue sauce and smoke on me. Then she gets really creeped out and tells me she had went into my room earlier and saw me in bed with covers up to my neck and had a 15-minute conversation with me. That really creeped me out and I never felt comfortable in that room ever again." This actually would be really weird to experience for everyone involved. Maybe this was just a weird glitch in the Matrix, or maybe something else was at play here. Whatever it is, it seems like this person has a lot of weird things happening around them. In our number 5 spot today we have black holes. Black holes are some of the most mysterious, mystifying, and terrifying things that exist out there in the ether. They can be super small or massively large, and they are extremely dense. Their gravity is so strong that absolutely nothing can escape, and that is exactly why, coupled with the fact that one of these will turn you into spaghetti if you get too close, but that's why we know little to nothing about what lurks on the inside. Hear me out, especially if you've seen Interstellar, great movie by the way, Matthew McConaughey is so good in it. What if black holes somehow connect us to other universes? I know it sounds insane and kind of like a silly idea, but in the end, if other universes exist and they run parallel to ours, then there really is no idea too wild or crazy, because that's one of the most insane things I can possibly think of. In our number 4 spot today we have the hand. This is a story from someone who just might have seen a hand reach from another universe into ours. Maybe it's all just a glitch in the system, but it's an eerie story nonetheless. They wrote, quote, "I was putting makeup on and from the corner of my eye I saw what looked like the shadow of a hand slap down onto my nightstand. Would have dismissed it as my brain playing tricks on me or something, but I heard it too, and it sounded like a really loud smack. It was weird, but I've experienced so many small unusual incidents like this, things randomly falling or shaking, so I guess I've become apathetic to it. That was the first time I ever actually heard the thing too though." Not only would that be pretty terrifying, but also so confusing. You wouldn't trust your mind no matter what it was telling you. You know what you saw and heard, but could it possibly be true? Maybe there's a reasonable explanation, maybe it's whoever's in charge of the simulation, and maybe it has something to do with another universe. At this point, anything is possible. In our number 3 spot today we have space signals. There are tons and tons of signals that we detect from space every single year. Some we understand and can figure out where they're coming from and what is causing them, and some others aren't quite so clear and have stumped researchers for years. Some believe that these mysterious unexplained signals are coming from extraterrestrials. Perhaps the signals we are receiving is from some sort of space situation that we just don't know about yet because it doesn't occur close to us here on Earth. The possibilities really are endless when we're talking about the ever-expanding universe and the unexplained things that exist within it, and that is why, just perhaps, these signals could mean something else. Maybe in another universe we are well aware of the other universes that exist parallel to that one, and we are trying to communicate with the one that we live in. Maybe the signals are being sent through black holes. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little far-fetched, but really, anything could happen. In our number 2 spot today we have the time jump. This is a story about a location that has some weird sort of time jump. At first everyone thought the person experiencing it was playing some kind of a prank, until others experienced it for themselves as well. They wrote, quote, "Had a friend who was convinced something was wrong with the area between the nearby town and his home. Or maybe it was his car. He claimed that many times he'd leave work and somehow be home 5 minutes later when it was a 15 to 20 minute drive. It was crazy. He wasn't the only one who experienced it either. Happened to a few friends that rode with him. Definitely weird stuff." Listen, I hate commuting, so I wouldn't be upset by this sort of a glitch, but I would definitely be confused. I'm glad other people got to experience the weirdness of the situation too. I wonder if it had something to do with just his car and the area, because you'd think other people who drove the same roads would notice the same thing too, right? In our number 1 spot today we have the Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect began being widely recognized when people began to swear that they could remember Nelson Mandela passing away in the 1980s. This is of course weird since he actually passed away in 2013. That's a huge time discrepancy, so people were very confused. This of course is how it got the name the Mandela Effect, and basically there are 2 main ideas behind this theory. One is that whoever is responsible for the simulation we live in has gone back and changed some things, and the other theory applies to us in our video today, and it's the idea that in a parallel universe the things we remember happened, but then somehow we jumped into this timeline in which things happened similarly but slightly differently. Other really famous cases of the Mandela Effect are the Bernstein Bears, where some people swear it used to be spelled with the ending being S-T-E-I-N, while all copies now are spelled with S-T-A-I-N. Or the popular peanut brand called Jif, there are people who swear it used to be called Jiffy. The list just goes on. There are tons and tons of examples of the Mandela Effect, and I think most people can relate to at least one, so maybe this really is signifying something bigger going on here. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!